Hey, and thanks for tuning into the Milty's World podcast. Today's episode does contain a little bit of sensitive material regarding mental health. So when we get to that portion of the episode, I'm going to give you a warning. And if you would like to, you can skip ahead about 5 minutes. Thanks for listening. Today's guest is Jeffery Buggs. He was born in Miami, Florida, and raised in Donaldsonville, D.ville, Georgia. He's an Army veteran. He currently works as a counselor. He's a father, a personal trainer, a singer-songwriter, and he is an author of a book. And when he was in the Army, he was a part of a special forces unit known as the SWO Patrol.
I love it.
What up, brother?
What's good, bro? Long time no hear, man. What is good?
For real, we hadn't talked in a minute.
Nah, man, we ain't talked in a hot minute, man. But it's good to see you living live, man. Whenever you hit me up for the a few months ago, I believe that's when we touched bases about this podcast. I was like, man, I didn't even know Milton had a podcast, and then that's when I immediately started looking at your stuff and your social media, and I started watching some of your videos of because I know that you had just started it, so I started watching some of your stuff, man. I was like, yeah, man, I said like, my boy, got it hooked up pretty good, So I was like, yeah, like
brother.
I definitely love to be a part of it, man. For so many different reasons, man. Like we've been friends for a long time, and as you know, and everyone who's watching, I just released a book. Well, not just released it. I've released it last year in March. So it's coming up on a year. March 8th to be the anniversary that I released the book, So just talking about, just like you said, man, just hanging out, discussing the book. And I know you read it, so I know you got some questions. And, so yeah, bro, let's do it, man. Let's do it.
Absolutely. I really enjoyed reading the book, and that's kind of the reason why it prompted me to ask you to come be on my podcast because, hey, my friend wrote a book. Let's do a podcast about it because I think that'd be awesome. Before we get into the book, though, I really would like to just kind of catch up with you and see what's going on. Let's talk a little bit about how we met.
All right.
I don't even remember how we met. I just know that I've known you since I lived in Donaldsonville, and it was early on. Jonathan Reels had to have hooked us up because he used to talk about you and Terrence Mitchum all the time.
Yeah.
And one day I know I met y'all, and we just hit it off.
Yeah, we did. I remember that, bro, because I remember that because I remember. I think Terrence. Please correct me if I'm wrong, but if my memory serves me correctly, I believe Terrence met you before I did, if I'm not mistaken, because I just remember him, and the reason why I say that is because I remember him telling me about you. He said that are you some kind of you're related to Mr. Houston, right?
Right. We found that out. So like me and Jonathan was in that Seven Brides for Seven Brothers play together. Yeah. That was like the first thing I ever did, and I met people in Donaldsonville. And then during that time, my mom was doing like genealogy research, and she come to find out we were related. Like he was my cousin.
Oh,
like,
wow.
Distant, but still a cousin.
Yeah.
So yeah. So it was through him. That's how we met, because that's what it was. He asked me to come to the high school, to the drama room, to practice for the play, and y'all was in there doing music.
I remember, because I believe you told me that you were homeschooled.
Yeah,
or something like that.
Actually.
Yeah. I remember that now, and I can't remember if I had a conversation with you or Terrence, but that's been like freaking over 20 years ago.
And that was 2003, man.
Like, that makes us sound so old.
That was 21 years ago. What is this?
That is crazy. Hey, bro, we
just getting started.
Kicking along, though, bro. We still kicking along.
We just getting started. We are just getting started. For real.
Yeah,
Man,
man.
I'm so happy to talk to you. This is fun. Um, yeah, I mean, we'll talk about the book later, but while we're talking about us and getting to know each other,
Yeah,
like one of the things that hit me in that book was whenever I read about how your grandmother passed and like she was your mom. She raised you.
yeah,
She was the one who cared for you and she was the love that you had in this world. She was she was the one that provided that nurture, the only one, it seems.
yeah,
And
yeah,
then
yeah.
shortly after that, and this was right before I met you, I feel like. Shortly after
Mm,
that, your mother passed. And then I met
yeah,
you, and you were not as loud and energetic at the time when I met you. You were super humble and super
yeah,
quiet. And you started coming to our youth group, and
yeah,
everybody instantly fell in love with you. But what hit me is in your book, you were talking about like you were looking for acceptance,
yeah,
but everybody loved you. Like you were like our favorite dude to hang out with. I don't know what it was about you, but you had a light and you shined,
yeah,
and it was an instant connection. And it didn't take long for you to become a brother to me.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Man, I first and foremost, bro, like I just thank God for you saying that. I'm humbled by that. I do remember back at that point in time, you know, you invited me to youth group. That's when you told me that your dad was a pastor and he was pastoring at Oakview, right?
Yep.
Yeah, and you know, and like you guys were like a great group to hang out with, and I guess during that time, man, I didn't know because you brought up about me wanting acceptance because the giant that I've had battled for years was rejection, but I didn't realize that back then, though, Milton. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Like I couldn't put two and two together. I was only 16, 17 years old.
We
You
didn't know how
know?
to articulate things like that back then.
Yeah,
And when I
yeah,
read that in your book, I cried
yeah, yeah.
because I thought about that.
Yeah, yeah, man. And I mean, I feel like that's something that pretty much almost everybody can relate to on some level. And to kind of go into detail because I want to make sure that I do you justice with answering all your questions. You know, like when my grandmother died. So like for those of you who don't know or who haven't read a book, like I will give you this little nugget. You know, I was raised by my grandparents because my mom and dad had me when they were teenagers. I think they were what 18, 19 years old, something like that whenever they had me. So like my grandparents. So back then, you know, teenagers having kids in the early 1980s typically wasn't a normal thing, you know. So back
Right.
then, at that point in time, and you know, my grandparents just took me in, and I mean, ever since I can remember being alive, that's always been like my grandparents have always been mom and dad. Now, I always knew my parents, and I've always had a great relationship with my biological mom and my biological dad. You know, I've never had any beef, never had any issues. That was just my reality. Like that was my normal. Like people would ask me, well, like, do you have a good relationship with your mom? With that, yes. Like I always had, you know. But I just at a very young age, I just understood my grandparents were my mom and my dad, and my mom
Sure.
and dad were just mom and dad. But they just what I don't know how they explain it, but
Your
that was just my
grandparents gave
reality.
you that nurture that
Yeah,
the parents needed to give
yeah.
you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when my grandmother died,
Absolutely.
because you know how mothers are, like they're the nurturers. You know, typically the fathers are the ones who go to work. You know, make sure all the bills are paid and everything is going as accordingly, and the house is ran like it should be ran. You know, but I mean, like she was the one that had my back. Like I never felt love like that from another woman. You know what I'm saying? I mean,
Mm-hmm.
like it was the way I can describe it, bro. Like the whole world could turn against me. And as long as I had her, bro, I was good. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like it wouldn't
Mm-hmm.
even matter. So you gotta think, bro, like whenever you have somebody like that that's your rock and all of a sudden, bro, is taken away forever, bro,
Yeah.
that is a very hard pill to swallow.
Yeah.
Like, and it takes time, it takes years to even process that. You know what I'm saying? You know,
Right.
I I'll share something with you, bro. something just came back to my mind. Uh, Maybe about probably like a month ago. Um, I called my dad, my biological dad, Joe
Mm-hmm.
Buggs. um, and I was just asking him because I was in the eighth grade the day my mom passed. Yeah, the day. If you guys let me specify, because my mother, my biological mom, did pass too. But when I say mom, I'm talking about my grandmother right now.
Sure.
So I didn't know that my dad was there at the hospital with her when she passed.
Oh.
And I didn't find that out, bro, until like literally sometime last year.
Oh
I
wow.
didn't know that.
Wow.
All these years, bro, I didn't know that. So,
Was that
and
his mother?
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Because we all like, so like my dad and my aunts, like we all have like a group chat that we text, each other, just encouraging, uplifting words, because all of them are believers.
Sure.
And so, and I remember reading in a text thread one day, talking about her, and how he was there to hear her last words. And I'm like, all these years, I'm 40 years old, and I'm just now finding out that you heard her last words. So, and I had intended to just contact him and call him and ask him, like, because I'm curious, like, what were her last words? I didn't know that.
Right.
And how life happens, and I just kind of forgot about it. But like a month ago, I remember, and
Hmm.
I was like, I'm gonna call my dad and ask him like what my grandmother's last words were.
Right.
So I called him, and he told me, that what her last words were, and like the reason I'm telling this is because like when I told you that just losing somebody like that was a hard pill to swallow, bro.
For sure.
Like, it's a pill. When I say it takes years to digest and swallow and process, I really mean that. Because as we're talking, bro, like he legit had to hang up the phone, bro. Because he
Wow.
bro, like this is the first time like I actually like heard my dad. Like I saw him cry once. That's when he was in the hospital, and I wrote about that in the book.
Right.
But but it was like just like tears streaming down his face. Like I never saw him like wail and hollering. That was my first time ever, bro. I'm 40 years old. Never heard my dad, like, heard him really cry,
Wow.
wail like that. And he had to hang up the phone, bro. You know what I'm saying? So, like, when I tell
Yeah.
you, man, that when you lose somebody like that, it literally takes, bro, that happened when I was 14. I'm 40
Yeah.
now, bro. So, decades, but God does not make mistakes, man. I know for a fact she's in a better place.
That's right.
And, do I wish she would have been here longer? Absolutely.
Hmm.
Like I would have
Yes.
loved. I mean, like the man I like. Lord knows I'm not a perfect man, but the man that I am today, the core values that I have, um, you know, stem from her. So
So yeah, that was right before we met. Pretty
yeah,
much.
yeah.
All of that happened just you were what 12, 13 years old, and we met
14.
around 17. So
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then did we do anything crazy before we went to Chipola?
Man, no, man, we were, man,
We was cool before that. We were chill.
like we were angels.
Yeah. Yeah. We were.
Oh man.
Yeah. I mean, we was in youth group together. What else?
Yeah.
We sang songs. We played in the
And,
band. Um,
yeah.
I think the first time we ever did anything slightly naughty was when Terrence wanted to record a song, and I had that little track player, and I didn't even know how to use it. And he come over there, and I made a little beat on the keyboard, and he was singing about sex songs in the church. Remember that?
Oh
You
my
remember
goodness,
that?
bro. Bro, that
Oh
was,
my
yes, bro.
god! Shoot. So then we went to Chipola on the music scholarship.
We did. We
And
did.
I did not know what I was getting into. I told Jonathan
Me
about
either.
this last week. And like the reason I got the scholarship was for singing an AC/DC song really well at the Relay for Life. So like, I'm like, oh, cool. Music career. Oh, cool. Learn how to sing rock songs. And then we get there and it's like, caro mio bien, credi
Credi
mio
mio
bene. And I'm
man,
like, what in the
senza
world
di
is this?
te.
I mean, the only thing that was keeping me sane in there was the fact that there was pretty girls that also
Yeah.
were in the program. so we had to deal with Dr. Lion. He was a handful.
Yeah, he was.
He was hardcore, wasn't he?
Yes, he was, bro.
Man, if you
Yes, he
didn't
was.
sing, you could sing the best you ever sang in your life when you were in his room practicing your lesson that day, and he would tell you it was trash.
He would, bro. He
Bro,
would.
I thought I couldn't sing, man.
Bro, listen, like, I don't know. I think it was more of him really trying to, because, you know, like, just like
He was coaching us.
he was coaching us, bro, because he was telling me to push, push, push. And, like, one day I was singing so much, like, because it was during warm-ups, because, you know, we each had our own little private lesson, I think once a week or something like that. And I remember him just kept telling me to keep pushing. Like, I'm just like, bro, like, I can't go higher. I'm like, this is the highest I can sing. He was like, well, stay
You're
right
right.
there and just keep. I'm like, bro, but
And
that really
he would
does
do
help
this
you.
thing to you. He would do this thing to you, like, because in the choir, he's like, he tried to push me into baritone, even though I'm a tenor. He'd be like,
Yeah.
you can sing baritone if you want to, because he needed more baritones in the choir.
Yeah,
So he would try
yeah.
to push you into a range that you weren't really in, and push you to become something more.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And I mean, at that time, I will say this: I became a better singer when it was all said and done. So I mean, he did something right. You know what I'm saying? Like that came. I remember within my first year of Chipola, like I can just tell the strength of my voice, and like
for
even other
sure.
people like around me, you know, like so. I mean, you know, we might not have liked his tactics, but I can tell you, for me, you know, it worked.
It was him. What was that piano teacher's name? She was mean.
Bro, she was mean, but
She
hey,
was
T
really
Mac,
mean.
hey T Mac. So if y'all hear me say T Mac, I'm talking about Terrence, my best friend that we were
And we'll
talking
try to
about.
find a picture and put him up so everybody
Yeah.
can know who he is,
So
because
yeah,
he
man.
deserves to be
So
known.
he
He deserves
deserves
to
to be
be
known, bro.
internationally known.
Absolutely, bro.
I have to tell you a story about him. Do you think he'll mind if I tell a story about him and me after he had been toking it up?
Hey, bro, listen. I don't think he would mind, and we can always cut it out. Like if I, you know, it's like just depending on like what it is. Because I mean,
It
I
ain't too
kind of know
bad.
what I kind of
I'm
know
a,
what he would like
I'm,
and wouldn't
I'm
like.
gonna tell
But
you what it is, and you can let me know if I can tell it or not. But I'm gonna tell it.
yeah,
So
yeah.
one time, it was Scott from California, and him had been in the room all night long in y'all's dorm, hotboxing it in his room. He come to class. His head was laying on the desk. He was like just tore up. And then after the class was over, I was like, "You want to go get some lunch, Terrence?" And he's like, oh, I called him T Mac back then. I
Yeah.
said, "You want to go get some lunch, T?" He said, "Let's go get some lunch." He sounded like Cat Williams. He said, "Let's go get some lunch." And I was like, "Oh, where you want to go?" "Let's go to Ruby Tuesdays." And I was like, "Okay." And I didn't catch on yet because I was kind of naive at the time. I didn't know what weed was or nothing. So then we go. We sitting there. Ruby Tuesdays. And the waitress comes up and she's like, "What y'all want?" I told her what I wanted. He told her what he wanted. And then she said, "Would you like to add the salad bar for $7.99?" Like really like that. And he
Yeah.
looks up at her. He goes, "I would like to add the salad bar for $7.99." And he starts giggling.
Listen, that sounds just like
And
that sounds just like him, bro.
I said, listen. I said, "Hey." I said, "Terrence, are you high?" He said, "Shh. Don't tell nobody."
Don't tell nobody. Hey, bro, he was so dramatic, bro. He was so dramatic too, bro. And he still is. He
That
still
was a
is,
great
man.
one. And then his mama came. And I don't know if you was there or not. I think it was just me and him. His mama came. And she's a minister.
Yeah.
She made us get down on our knees in his room. And she got out the anointing oil. And she put her thumb on our forehead. And she started praying over us.
Hey,
And she was speaking in tongues.
Y'all needed it, especially him.
We needed it then.
Hey, especially him, boy. T-Mac, boy. That boy. Listen,
She said
boy.
she came just to pray for him. It's the only reason she came.
Boy, cause listen, hey man, God heard them prayers, cause boy, T-Mac was hanging around some people, boy.
It
But
was.
hey man,
We all were though.
yeah man, he turned out to be all right, and like Lord knows, I definitely had my share of being in places I shouldn't have been. So yeah, man, we definitely all had our individual struggles.
You
Yeah,
remember
man.
the Christmas concert?
Yes, I do. I
My
do. I remember
favorite time singing with anybody was when we did Carol of the Bells a cappella.
Oh man, bro, I forgot about that, bro. That was so beautiful, man. That was beautiful. That was beautiful. Like that was just like a great time, because I'm a sucker for Christmas time and all the festivities that come along with it. Caroling, singing, and I mean, like I've always been in love with acapella. You know what I mean? I mean, it's just bro. It's just a wonderful time, man. And for us to just dress up and go to these Christmas concerts and perform, yeah, bro. Yeah,
And
I was with.
did you do the show choir?
No, I didn't do the show choir, but I
I
did
didn't
come to
either.
some guys' shows. Funny thing about that, like I didn't do show choir at that point in time because I feel like I had too much on my plate. And because
Same.
music school was hard, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Like so, I didn't finish. I don't know if y'all what T Mac did. I'm pretty sure you probably did, but
No,
actually you didn't.
no,
I
I
actually
left and went to Tennessee the next year.
okay. Well, I went back home and I kind of had aimlessly, bro. Like, we really didn't know. I mean, like, I was going to Bainbridge College and taking classes and then working at the same time. And I'm just like,
I went to
for a
Bainbridge for a
while.
little while. Yeah.
Yeah, man. For a
Before
while.
we get off of the track, though, before we get
Yeah.
off of the Chipola, we got one more crazy story to tell.
Oh, yeah,
Do you
man. We
remember?
are.
You remember we was doing rehearsals for the spring concert, and what was it? Gerald and
Nate,
Nate, and who was the other guy?
James.
Yeah. So they had went to Panama City Beach for spring break,
Yeah, man.
and
Yeah,
they was
boy.
telling us about what was going on down there, about the girls hopping in the cars with them, and
Yeah, bro.
everybody just doing whatever, everything.
Yeah.
And so I got the bright idea. I was like, hey, hey, buddy, I want to stay at your dorm after the concert. At least that's what I'm gonna tell my parents. And when the
Bro, I was
concert's
about to ask
over,
you, 'cause I don't remember. What did your parents, what did you tell them? I
I
just
told them I
want
was
to know.
staying with y'all because it was gonna be so late when it was over, and it was like our last thing before the end of the year. I wanted to hang out.
I'm going to tell mama.
She gonna hear it. I'm grown up. I'm forgiven. It's all over. But anyways, so long story. Back to the story. So we decided we was gonna go to Panama City when it's over. As soon as we got done, we got changed. We hit the road because I was on a mission to hook up with a girl. I had at that time not yet done so, and
You
that
was
was
a
the night.
virgin, bro. Hey, I was
It
too,
was
though. I
right.
was too.
And it was that, it was like a promise. It
T-Mac
was a
wasn't.
promise. We were going to the promised land. So we got
Bro,
down there. We stopped at the Walmart. We
yeah.
bought some supplies that we
What
didn't
kind
end
of
up.
supplies you bought?
You know what we bought? Some supplies that we would need if we was going to have a good time. So
Oh, yeah.
we bought some supplies, and then we went down to the strip.
We
It was
did.
like midnight. We get
Yeah, we
down
did.
there. There's like a few cars. We was like, "Where's everybody at?"
Yeah.
So we drove on down. And then we found an area where there was some people, but we got out and started walking. And we seen like some people here and some people there. The clubs were quiet. Everything was
Yeah.
shut down. I think it was the last week of spring break period. So
Yeah.
what happened was we wanted to go and have a good time, and there
Yeah.
was nobody to have a good time with.
Yeah. Yeah.
And literally
Okay, I
the
remember
day or
that
two
now.
before that, it was popping.
It was popping, yeah.
Yeah. So then was it about we decided to leave around about 1 o'clock in the morning, go back to your dorm. It was an hour and a half away.
Yeah.
And then we got lost.
Yeah, I
And I was
remember
like,
that.
I was getting stressed out, and you were getting stressed out. And I was like, do you remember screaming at me?
Dude, I remember I screamed at you.
Yes, I was scared to death
My bad,
because
bro.
you ain't never acted aggressive before.
My
And
bad.
I said, Jeffrey, are we going the right way? Are we lost? And you're like, I don't know, bro. You went off on me. And we didn't talk no more until we got back to the dorm. I don't know if he was mad because we didn't get what we wanted or if he was just tired or what.
And that's why I was frustrated, bro, because I really wanted to get something too. I want to go down there. I want to go down there and get, you know what I'm saying? Because I mean, like, so, like, I, I'm very transparent. I lost my virginity at 21, and at that point in time, we were what, 19? You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? So I
we were
mean,
pretty
like, I
young.
even though that, but I, me, so I got saved when I was 14. So like, I always wanted to wait until marriage. Like, I could have been done, you know. But I mean, like, I would always push the envelope, but never really go cross that boundary. You know what I'm saying? Like when it came to girls at that point in time, I would do everything else, but the actual action. You know, if you know
Right.
what I mean. So, but that night, bro, like, hey, we was on the same page, bro. But hey, God shut them doors.
Yeah, it wasn't meant to be. We was just being stupid kids, man.
Yeah, bro.
But you
Yeah.
know, kids do things stupid like that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So then after that, that summer was probably the last summer we spent any time together. And I don't
Mm-hmm.
even remember if we really did anything together after that. I know
Yeah.
that when I got married in 2007, that you were part of my wedding party.
Yeah.
And that's
Bro, I
like the
want to say
last
that
time
was a
that we were
beautiful
together.
wedding, bro.
Thank you.
Beautiful. Absolutely.
Thank you. And I actually did remain a virgin until I got married.
Hey, man. That's what's
So
up, bro. Hey, but you did something that a lot of us hey, never did.
I won't lie and say it wasn't because I didn't try. It's just because I was so awkward that it just never worked out. Just be real. What was next?
At that point in time, I was coming to Oakview. Your dad was a pastor, you know. And during that time, I believe we had Brother Bill. Shout out to Brother Bill, you know what I'm saying? Him and his wife, Rhonda, you know. They were the youth pastors at that time. And I remember just having me being a believer and me being saved since I was 14. But, like, I always value what church I went to. And I always pray, like, God, I want to be planted where you want me to be, you know, in order for me to grow, you know. And Oakview at that time was that church. I absolutely loved y'all and had a great time. But as far as like what I was doing with school and job, man, I was just kind of taking classes. Really didn't know what I really wanted to do. Honestly, I knew I wanted to like help people. Like I knew I was always good with talking to people, counseling, but I didn't know what that would look like. You know, I'm
Yeah.
like, okay, like music didn't work out. Music school didn't work out because it wasn't what I thought it was. So I'm
Right.
like, but like, what am I gonna do with my life right now? You know, so I tried going to EMT school. I actually passed the class, but couldn't, you know, pass the major exam. I took it twice and it just wasn't. And I studied so hard for that, bro. I
Man,
learned a
something
lot, but
similar happened to me with nursing school too.
yeah, man, just
Yeah.
you know, and like I'm not ashamed to say it, but like it was like anybody who can get through EMT paramedic school, much props to you, man. That's just I really gave it my best shot, and it just didn't work out. But that's
Just
just
wasn't
you
meant
know,
to be.
yeah, just wasn't meant to be, man. Because after that, you know, I believe. So that's what I was doing during that time, and I believe you guys left
Mm-hmm.
because your dad got another
You
pastor
got another
job.
appointment, yeah.
Yeah. And so like I stuck around for a while. Then I went to, as far as church wise, I went to New Hope, and
Which I was married at the time, but because it's just so people don't think it's weird, I'll explain.
mhm,
I had to have a major stomach surgery, and part of my
I
entire
remember.
colon was removed. So like I was down and out. And we moved in with my parents during that time, and because they
Yeah,
moved and we needed a place to be, we went with them. So yeah,
yeah.
that's why we
I remember.
weren't around, and we didn't have any connection after that for a while, other than
Yeah,
social
man.
media.
Yeah. We didn't have no connection after that for a while, and I think that was the last like during that time was the last time that we were ever, cause like once y'all moved, like we were never really physically in
Together it
contact.
was just catching
You
up on
know?
social. That's it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Just
yeah,
keeping up with what we're
yeah.
doing, and that's it. Yeah, we got to
So after
change
that,
that.
so hmm?
So we got to change that.
Yeah, 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 absolutely, bro, absolutely, absolutely, man. I I started working at the hospital, Donaldsonville Hospital, back in 2006, and I
You
worked
took
there
me to
for
get some
2000.
X-rays a couple times.
I did. Because
Yeah.
I was an X-ray transporter, and I know that sounds high speed, but it's really just a glorified X-ray orderly. All I did was go and pick up people from their rooms and take them to X-ray. That was my job. I was working there, and I remember Rebecca got a job there, but this was towards the end of my tenure there, because they were cutting positions or whatever, left and right. Do you remember how long she worked there?
So I don't remember
Like a year
exactly
and a
how long
half.
it was, but about a year and a half or so, maybe
Yeah,
two.
something like
It was
that.
right
Yeah,
after we got married. She got a job there,
yeah,
and then she went from like mailroom or something like that. She could be more
yeah.
specific. I know I'm messing this up, but then I know that she did go
I
work
know she
at
worked
the
in
nursing
pharmacy, I
home.
believe.
Yeah, she worked in the
Something like
pharmacy
that.
for a little
Yeah,
bit, and then she ended
yeah,
up working in the nursing home.
yeah, 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 yeah. Because
She worked with Ansley's mom over there.
because I remember
Hmm.
like seeing her, because I would have to pass by like the pharmacy part on our way to the cafeteria, but yeah, man. So and then they started cutting positions, bro. And and Donaldsonville is not a very large place. We got a population of what, 3,000 people, so it's not really room for a lot of opportunity. You know what I mean? Like, it's a small, safe town to grow up in, and if you want to retire, that's cool. But I mean, like, it's nothing really there for you to just grow up and have a future. So I
Right.
just remember, so like whenever you lose a job, which I was young at that time, so it ain't like I was just a grown adult with wife and mortgage or anything like that. But I mean, like, I'm still trying to figure out my life, and I remember
Sure.
like when I lost a job, like I feel like my whole world was caving down on me, man, because I'm just like, okay, I still don't know what I want to do with my life. I, you know, it was going to EMT school, had already failed one time, and I'm just like, I need to do something with my life. And then when I lost that job, I ended up moving in with my dad. He lived in Blakely, and just to
Okay.
kind of just really get my mind right, man. So I moved in with him, and I just remember feeling like, because they would cut a position, like they cut my position at the hospital. So, bro, like it was bad, man. I remember I had, so I totaled my '03 Ford Taurus that I had during that time. And because I didn't have gap insurance, like I didn't have enough to pay for the,
Oh yeah,
yeah. So lost my car, but my granddad
man.
actually gave me one of his cars,
Okay.
and he has excellent credit. So like the car payment was on like $120 a month. But
Okay.
I wish my car payment was the same price now. I'd be balling.
Yeah, you
But
can't even get close to
but
that today.
no, man. But back then at that point in time, you got to think like with me, I already didn't have a lot of money. So like with me losing that job, the hospital was only paying like, I was only making like $500 every 2 weeks. You know what I mean? So, and then I remember during that time I was living in Tony Busick's. He had like a house next to his, like
Yeah,
I think like one bedroom. So I was like, he gave me like a pretty good deal. Like I think I was paying like $200 a month for rent. But when you think I only make $500 a week,
that's a lot of
I gotta
money.
pay $120, for a car payment, and then I gotta eat, I gotta get
Right.
gas,
And
and
you
then
eat it a lot.
$200. You know what I'm saying? So it's like I had very little room, bro. You know what I'm saying, to just do
Yeah.
anything else, bro. So when I lost that job, bro, like that was it. Like I went to Tony Music, and I was like, hey, look, this is what happened. I can't, and like he allowed me to stay there for like a little while longer, until
Yeah,
I
he
could
was a
figure
good guy.
things out. Yeah, he was. So I my dad told me I could move in with him, and because he lived in Blakely, and I moved in, and like he was very understanding, because he knew I wasn't a leech. He knew I wasn't just just out here, just hanging out and in the streets. Like
Sure.
I ain't never been that type of dude. So I just hit a rough patch, bro, and I was really just trying to figure it out. But he knew that I would. So I remember, bro, working when I moved in with him. I was working at McDonald's.
Okay.
And no offense, I love McDonald's. No offense to anybody who's working at McDonald's. You got to get it how you live. But I just never pictured myself, because I believe I was 25, 26 at the time, and I
Right.
expected to be, you know, when I was in high school, bro. I didn't imagine me being 25, 26 years old, losing everything, living with my dad. Like that's not the plan I had for myself. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So uh, it just it humbled me. I wasn't getting any hours, and like my paycheck was only like, I'm thinking I'm shooting bad, making 500 every 2 weeks at the hospital. Man, I'm making $70 to $80 a week at McDonald's.
Right.
So it's like, and then, bro, like, I never forget it, because the bank kept calling me, about, because I was behind on my car payment, and I was too ashamed to like tell anybody that I needed help. You know what I mean? So
Right.
one day I was coming home from work, and I saw. No, I don't think I was coming home from work. I think because I would have drove my car to work. Um, no. I worked the morning shift. Yeah, because
Okay.
I'd be at work at like 5, and I think I got off at like 1 or 2. And so I came home, I showered, I kind of, took me a nap. And then all of a sudden, bro, I hear somebody, because like my dad lives in the country, but it was like a little neighborhood out in the country, like a lot of surrounding houses and whatnot.
Sure.
So I remember seeing, bro, never forget this, Milson, this tow truck come in the yard.
Oh no.
Yo, bro, took my car.
We already
And
know
bro,
what happened.
at this point, I'm talking about, it was so embarrassing, bro, because at this point, this happened like while all the kids were out of school,
Right.
everybody's out hanging out. You know what I'm saying?
Oh
Just what
man.
they done. So everybody saw it, bro. Everybody
Yeah.
saw it. So it was so humiliating, bro. And like at that point in time, bro, like I just broke down, because I'm just like, God, like I really need your help. I've lost
Right.
everything. My dad and my stepmom were good to me, like they gave me everything that I needed, but I just felt ashamed, because I'm a 25-year-old grown man. You know what I'm saying? Like I
Right.
should be working at McDonald's. Like I should be further. Like I should be doing something else. And I just couldn't figure out, bro, like what God wanted me. I feel like I was so, and I say this humbly, I feel like God had blessed me with so many different gifts,
Right.
bro. And I just didn't have an outlet. Here I am in little old Blakely, Georgia, working at McDonald's, you know, and all these gifts that I got. I just felt like it's kind of like, bro, like you can have the best iPhone in the world, but if it's dead
Right.
and you don't have an outlet to plug it up, to give it no power to, in order to engage and use it for all the capabilities that it has, what's the point? What's the use?
It's
And like I
useless.
felt like that.
Yeah.
It's
And
useless.
you.
I
Yeah.
felt useless. You know.
Okay, so we're coming up on the portion of the show that you may want to skip forward about 5 minutes if you're sensitive to mental health topics. Thank you for listening. I feel
So,
like you were still dealing with that depression and you didn't know it from the loss of your mom.
bro, I was dealing with. I feel like that's always been like an underlying thing, man. Because
Yeah.
I skipped over that part, because like my mother died. My actual biological mom died when I was 17. I'll never forget it. It was on like a Monday night, because I remember I used to watch Monday Night Raw religiously, and I
Oh
was
yeah.
like kind of going back real quick. I was 17 years old. I was in the 11th grade, and I was watching Monday Night Raw, and I'm just in the living room just watching Monday Night Raw, and then my dad comes to the house, like him and my
Mm-hmm.
stepmom, and I'm like, they don't normally, like, y'all live in Blake, like what are y'all doing over here? Like it's late, you know what I'm saying? Because like
Yeah.
Monday Night Raw
What's the
came on at 8
occasion?
o'clock, and I'm like an hour or two in. So when they came in, my dad didn't say nothing to me. Like
Mm.
he looked at me, he spoke, and then he walked to the back, And then I didn't really think that. I'm like, okay, well maybe because like my dad used to sing in the group, so I'm like, okay, like maybe they had like a program he had to sing at that night because he was dressed up. So I'm like, all right, whatever. He probably just
Yeah.
talking about to say hi. So and I just remember like I heard my aunt in the kitchen because we had a big house. Like she was crying, bro. You know, and
Yeah.
I'm like, and I heard it. I'm like, what's like, why is she crying? But I brushed it off, bro, because I'm trying to watch Stone Cold Steve Austin, Austin 316. You feel me?
Yeah.
Monday Night Raw. So
Right.
I'm locked in, and then
Priorities.
yeah, bro, I'm locked in, and then so like my stepmom calls me back. She said, Jeffrey, can I talk to you in your room? And I'm like, this is strange. You ain't never asked me to talk to me. Like, why you can't talk? Like, I'm in the living room. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Tell me right here.
Call me back in the room, bro.
Mm.
And she said, baby, can you sit down? So I'm like,
Mm.
okay. I sat down. And so she said, I'm sorry to tell you this, but the other night, your mom shot and killed herself.
Oh.
And so I'm like, bro, I had no emotion at that point in time. You know
Right.
what I'm saying? And like there are times like where I talk about it and I can barely talk about it, like I get emotional. And there are
Mm-hmm.
times like right now, like I'm fine talking about it. It's like a hit or miss, honestly. You know what I'm saying?
Sure. Well, this might help you like it helped me to deal with things like that. But I heard about this thing where trauma can be like a giant red ball in a room with a button,
Mm-hmm.
and it'll at first it's going to bounce against that button, and that pain is going to hit a lot.
Yeah.
But over
Yeah.
time, the ball gets smaller and smaller, and then eventually it just bounces around the room, and it's so tiny it can't even reach the button anymore.
That's a
And
good way
so
to put it, bro.
the way that you feel it sometimes when you talk about it in others, it's because you're getting to the point to where you just have accepted it, and yeah.
Yeah, absolutely, man. So that's how I kind of so to kind of like just go with what you were saying. Uh, I think I've always like that's always been something that I had dealt with, and then with me losing everything, I'm like, what am I supposed to be doing with my life right now? Paired on top of that, so I'm just like, God, I don't know. And then that's when I kind of because like God will. One thing about God, like when He leads you, like He won't ever really give you all the pieces to the puzzle, all the steps to the process. He'll give you one step to follow, and if you follow that step, he'll reveal to you, okay, you did well with step one. Okay, let me reveal step two, and so on. You
Sure.
know, so I was praying, and all of a sudden, I just felt this urge. I was like, I have to leave. I don't know how I'm gonna leave, and this was before I thought about joining the military.
Okay.
I said, I have to leave. I have to. I don't know. I don't know what it's gonna look like, but I have to leave.
Hmm.
And then so I prayed about it. I was like, okay, God, I hear you telling me that you want me to leave, but what do you want me to do? And then so I thought about the military, and at that point in time, math has always been my worst subject, bro. And so, long story short, I took the ASVAB test. I had to take it 3 times before I passed it. And I passed everything but the math part, but you had to
Right.
pass that in order for it. So, like, I had to study and read because I sucked at math, bro.
I
Still
had to
do.
take 3 remedial math classes in college.
Bro, I feel you, bro. You know,
Yeah.
so anyway, I end up passing it, man, and I joined the military, and that's something that I never really wanted to do.
Right.
Because I just felt like I feel like the army was a cop out. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, like that's what people do whenever they want to have anything else to do with their lives. Well,
Well,
I
did
was
you
that
find out
person.
that that was different after we got in there, though? Right.
Yeah, yeah, man, because there's a lot of opportunities, bro. I am still benefiting now, bro,
Yeah.
from the military. You know what I'm saying? You know, getting checked through the VA, and I mean, like, it's really helping me now. So, like, it's definitely one of the best decisions that I've ever made. It was very challenging. I definitely had some pitfalls, you know,
So
as
what
you
was
read
boot camp?
about.
What was boot camp
I
like?
was boot camp, man. So this was when the army was starting to get like they were starting to change, and
Was it getting soft at that point?
yeah, yeah,
Okay.
starting to get soft.
Starting
And
to
my
get
drill
soft.
sergeants did not like that at all.
So
They
they took
even
it
did
out
some
on you,
stuff
didn't they?
bro, they did some stuff that they weren't supposed to do. But you know what though? I'm a roughneck, bro. So like I was with it because you gotta think like I was 26 when I joined, so I'm there with a whole bunch of 18 and 19-year
You
olds
ain't the kid.
kids, you
Yeah.
know. So I automatically got respect just because of my maturity. You know, I didn't
Sure.
respond the way 18, 19-year-old would. And so, like, a lot of drill sergeants, like, I mean, like, I had it hard, but once they, got done with their yelling and, pretty much went about it how they were supposed to,
Mm-hmm.
once they kind of let their guards down, like, they realized, okay, like, he's a stand-up guy. He's not a liability. That's why, like, I got so much respect.
That's good though.
I was a leader of my platoon.
Okay.
I carried what they call the guide on. I I represented my company. Like I was the one that they
Okay.
picked for that. So yeah, man, I had a lot of success in basic training.
Was anything super challenging during that time? Aside from having to wake up at
Yes,
4 a.m.?
yes, bro. Yes, that's every day of my life. I will never forget it. So to elaborate on waking up in the butt crack of dawn, bro,
They don't even tell you what time it is, do they?
I am not a morning person. Yeah, they tell you what time it is. Like
So in the Marines, they don't tell them what time of day it is in basic.
oh wow,
Because I used to do FedEx and I worked at Paris Island. That's one of the places I
mm-hmm.
delivered. And I would go
Yeah.
through the mess hall and it would be 1:30 in the afternoon and they'd be in the mess hall and they would say, "Good morning, sir." They would like have to stand at attention for me to pass them and they would say, "Good morning, sir." Every time I passed anybody, it would be good morning because they didn't know what time of day it was. It'd be like one, and I'd be like, "It's afternoon," just to give them a little heads up. But
Yeah,
I probably wasn't supposed to do that. I hope I didn't get him in trouble.
that's crazy.
Yeah.
That's crazy, man. But no, like we were allowed to know what time it was, man. But I just remember, like, bro, you know me, Milton. I ain't never been no morning person, bro.
No.
Never, still ain't,
You gonna show up late to the funeral.
bro. Never been a morning person. And I remember, bro. You want to talk about? You asking me what was it, like? What was my most challenging time? I'm about to tell you. We had to go out into the field because I did basic training in Fort Leonard Wood, Missouri. We had to
Okay.
go out into the field, and I joined around October.
Ooh,
So
it's
we went into the
cold.
field. So we went into the field around November.
Mm,
November and Fort Leonard Wood is not what you want, bro. It
no.
was snowing. We are out there. We're out there. We had to build tents in the snow. It had to be about. It was definitely single digits. Single
Yeah.
digits. We're out there. We're building tents in the snow, and we had to sleep in the tents. Like that was
Oh
part of
my
our
God.
training. Yes, bro. We had to sleep in the tents that we built. Yeah,
Oh
and
my God.
for about 3 days. Yeah, man. Single digit weather. We're
Not
out
me.
there. Yeah, bro. So there was this girl in basic training, and she kept writing me love letters, and I would never respond because I really didn't want to get in trouble. But like every time I saw her, like I would talk to, like we chop it up and whatnot. You know what I mean? And we weren't supposed to be doing that because they called it fraternization in basic
Right.
training. We weren't
Okay.
allowed to talk to anybody of the opposite sex or have like relations like that. So, we would sneak and talk to each other and whatnot. And she write me love letters, and she would give them to her friend and give them to me. And we actually got caught. The drill sergeant called us
Oh no.
one. Yeah. Well, like they went and like they searched all of our rooms and they saw all the love letters. No, 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 no. They they didn't catch mine because I would read them and throw them away.
Sure.
But she wrote me like 5 letters, and I decided, I said, you know what? I don't want her to make her feel like I don't like her. So let me just write her one letter back. The one
Oh
letter, she
no.
wrote me 5,
She got caught off for
and, and,
one.
and everything is fine. But when I decided to write the one letter, the drill sergeant decide on his very day to search to rake everybody's room bunks,
Oh
flipping
no.
sheets, throwing. I mean, bro, it was like a tornado came through there, man. And they saw the letter that I wrote her, and don't you know, bro? Like they called everybody down to like the day room, and they read the letter that I wrote her on the intercom so everybody can hear it. Yes, bro. Bro, he was saying stuff like, "Yeah, girl, I'm fit. You better check my PT score. Uh, my PT score. I got a lot of stamina." Like he was like reading. I was like, bro, like freaking stuff that I had wrote her, bro. Like he reading it on the intercom in front of everybody, and
On
he
the
threatened me.
intercom.
Yes, bro. It was on the intercom, bro. He read the letter on the intercom for the whole company to hear, bro.
Oh my
Everybody
God.
was, bro. Oh my gosh! And then he threatened me. He
You
was
were
like,
cooked.
bro. Oh my gosh! I got roasted so bad. He was like, "You gonna get kicked out of the army? You're not here to fraternize." And like he was just really trying, cause like he knew I was a good soldier, but he was like, "I'm gonna strip you from carrying the company's God on. We're gonna put somebody else in your place." And they threatened me, and then I realized over time that they just bluffing, but they
Oh
really
yeah.
wanted to test me. But anyway, but so
It's scaring you.
back to the when we was in the field. So
Yeah.
I said that to say this. So that happened prior to us going to the field. So when we was in the field, I had survived for 2 days. One more day, we can go back to the company and live in an actual building again with some
Right.
heat.
Sure.
And so the last day, we did our training, and it was time to go to sleep. Like we built like fires to stay warm and stuff. But I mean, bro, like and we had on cold weather gear, but bro, I was freezing.
I live in Tennessee now, and it has been kind of cold this year. So I get what you're talking about. We had some 4-degree nights, and you can turn on all the heat you want.
Yes,
It's cold.
bro. Imagine living outside though, Millie.
No, I don't want to imagine
Bro,
it.
please, I don't want to imagine. So man, so the third night, I'm like, okay, let's tough it out this one more night. We're gonna be good, right?
All right.
So I'm in a tent, and it was a 2-man tent. So like you had a battle buddy that you had to sleep with in the tent. So we in the tent, and the worst thing was getting up and using the bathroom. So like I got up a couple times, took a
It'd be
leak,
bad if
got
you
back
got up with
up.
some morning wood in there with them, wouldn't it?
Oh, no, bro. It was single digits. Everything was shriveled up, bro. Everything was shriveled up. But hey, so I don't know what time it was because we didn't have watches out there.
Yeah.
But if I had to guesstimate, but it was probably maybe 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning, bro. I'm sleeping, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm sleeping, and I'm sleeping good because it's my last night there, and I can't wait. And then all of a sudden, I hear somebody say, "Hey, Bugs, Bugs." It's a female.
Oh my God.
"Hey, Bugs, can you come help me?" What did she say? She said, "I lost my E tool." And a E tool is like it's like a miniature size like shovel that you use that we use to dig
To
up
bury your poo.
and help build our tents and stuff and
Oh,
out
okay.
there in the cold. So she said, "I lost my E tool. Can you help me set up my tent because like my tent fell down?" And so it sounded like the girl I was talking to. So I was like, "What?" And so she opened my tent up, and she was like,
Mm-hmm.
"Hey, it's me. Can you come help me?" I'm like, "You ain't supposed to be over here." And then so she was like, "I know, but can you help me?" I'm like, "Okay, whatever." Bro, I got out of my tent, and the drill sergeants are so dirty, bro. I got out of my tent, and when I got out, they pulled the stake that was holding down my tent, pulled it up. All the snow fell in on my battle
Oh
buddy.
my God.
And bro, it took us about like an hour and some change just to build that tent. And then
You
so
said at 2 in the
when
morning?
yes, bro, 2 in the morning.
Oh my
So
God.
and it's cold, single digits, mind you, and snow's on the ground. So he pulls up the stake from the, you know what I'm saying, from the tent, and all the rope, all the snow, all the tent just fell down, bro. And so when he pulled it up, he was like, "Yeah, yeah, I got you now. I got you now, Bugs. I told you to stop messing around with these girls and see what happened." He actually got them to set me up.
Oh my
Yeah,
God.
that's what he did. That was the whole plan. So I'm looking at her like I mean, and I couldn't say it because he was present. The drill sergeant was right there in front of us. But I'm looking at her like I can't believe I can't believe like you do this to me.
It'll sell
But
you
then
out.
I had to understand her position too. The drill sergeant is in a position of power. Like we're all weaklings. You know what I'm saying? Like we all
Mm-hmm.
just soldiers. Like we got to do what we told. And I can tell she didn't want to do it. You know what I'm saying? But bro,
Yeah.
me and my battle buddy had to rebuild that tent 1, 2 o'clock in the morning. It's freezing cold. And bro, let me tell you something. That was probably like my most challenging moment. It wasn't anything to do physically or anything like that, bro. Because at that moment, I was like, you know what? If a bus came right now and said, "Who all don't want to be in the army no more? Get on the bus," I would have been the first one. I wouldn't have cared about nothing else. At that time, bro, I promise you, bro, you laughing, bro, but I promise you,
Yeah.
I meant that, bro.
I'm laughing because I know how
I
mad you
meant
had to
it.
be.
I was so pissed off, bro. Man, so that had to be like my most challenging time in basic training.
Yeah.
Because I expected all the physical stuff. Like I train, like I'm a personal trainer, so I mean, like all the physical stuff, like really didn't. I mean, I live for that.
But
But it's
you
just
already
like,
worked out.
yeah.
Yeah. So after that, I mean, you probably got other things, but I think that it's ironic enough to go ahead and say that you got stationed as a military police in what state?
Alaska.
Right. The one state you probably didn't want to go to.
Alaska, bro. I'm from DeVille, Georgia, bro.
I remember when you said it on Facebook and you started putting pictures up and stuff of all the snow and everything. I was like, ain't no way, son.
Yeah, bro. It was tough, man. So
Is
I
that where the Swole
joined
Patrol was born?
Swole Patrol, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like we had like our own little patches.
Yeah, I see that.
But yeah, I got to Alaska 2012. 2012.
This is kind of where your book starts out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Got to Alaska. We had a record-setting snowfall, Milton. You ready for this, bro?
Yeah.
Record-setting snowfall. 134 inches of snow, if I'm not
I
mistaken.
think that'll cover my house.
134 inches of snow. Record-setting snowfall for that winter was 134 inches of snow, bro.
What?
That was like that's crazy. If y'all don't believe me, y'all can Google it, look it up.
That's where
The
you go if
winter
you
of
want to build a
2011,
snowman.
2012. Yeah, man. And I'm like, bro, it would be a record-setting snowfall in Alaska when I decide to come. Bro, 100, bro,
Man.
like we're supposed to be getting like 15 inches of snow here in Kansas on Tuesday. People freaking out by that, but 134 inches, bro.
That's crazy. That is
Bro,
I don't think I didn't, I know that exists, but I've never thought about that many inches of snowfall at once in my life. Like when it snows here, you get maybe like 10 inches, and that's a lot of snow. That's a lot.
Yeah.
So
Can you
does
imagine?
it snow where you live now?
Oh yeah, bro, we got snow on the ground now.
Yeah. It's supposed to be snowing here. I don't know if it snowed or not because I haven't been outside, but
y'all in Tennessee?
yeah, East Tennessee.
Okay. I did not know that, bro. When did y'all move there?
We moved up here we bought the house the Christmas, like right before Christmas, the year before this past Christmas.
Yeah.
And then we moved up here last year.
Okay. Not got the subject, bro, but like, I kind of want, because I kind of talk, like we still hanging out.
Oh, yeah.
What brought y'all to Tennessee?
Yeah, you could interview me too. It's okay. So we decided, so we lived in Savannah and it was growing and it was getting too busy. It took me an hour to drive 18 miles to work. People were moving there, were not friendly. They came from bigger cities. They were there for the money, for the jobs that were growing there. But the thing about it is like it's a hard labor area, or either like you've got to have like a specialized degree.
Yeah.
And I have a psychology degree, and it's not even a good one. Like you can't get a good job with it. I had a good job there, but I was miserable. We couldn't get a house because after COVID, all the housing market just skyrocketed.
Yeah.
So we thought about going back to Donaldsonville because it's more affordable over there.
Yeah.
But the job opportunities weren't as good over there. And then so we started looking around and we found this place. And there was job opportunities here. And the housing market wasn't as bad here. It was like half of what it would be in Savannah. And so
Absolutely.
we wanted to raise our kids in a smaller town, kind of like Donaldsonville. This
Yeah.
is a little bit bigger of an area that we moved to. Don't want to disclose that publicly,
Yeah.
but
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, it is a little bit more of a larger than Donaldsonville, more like Dothan,
Gotcha.
and
Gotcha.
then
Yeah.
there's some bigger cities close by. So there's good job opportunities, and everybody in the community are good people. And whenever Hurricane Helene came, we got to see that firsthand because it literally stopped on the other side of the mountain where we live. Like
Wow, bro.
that's the
Thank
devastation was
God for
right
that.
on the other side of the mountain that we live on. And if it weren't for this mountain that we live, at the bottom of, probably would have gotten a lot worse here too.
Yeah.
And when we would right after that, we were without power for like a week, and we talked about it. And we took the kids to go meet with my parents and stay with them for a couple of weeks, and we drove through that devastation. And I might cry
Mm-hmm.
about it right now, but
It's all good,
just to
bro.
see that, man, just to see what happened, it was I had never seen anything like that before in my life, and
Wow.
and to see the people in this community. One guy, they tried to go down into the area where it was really bad, with trailers full of stuff, and the I don't know if I should say the name of the organization, but an organization that is supposed to help people stopped
Mm-hmm.
them and said, "You can't go through here." And they pulled up their shirts and showed what was on their hips and said, we're going through because these people need help and they need
Yeah.
it now." Because there were people in there with access to cell phones and stuff that were letting people know that they weren't getting any help from those people.
Yeah. Yeah.
And there was a local sheriff there, and he said, "I think you might want to let them go on this one." And they
Yeah.
took supplies in, but just to see people quit working at their jobs and quit everything and go out and search to see if they could find people who weren't here anymore, and just like all of the things that happened at that time, like it said in my heart that we moved to the right place.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Wow. Well, bro, like, I mean, I appreciate you for sharing that, man. I didn't know. Wow. Yeah, man. But yeah, man, back on track. So, like, got to Alaska, man. Record setting snowfall, crazy, crazy work. I It was a very challenging time, man, because I was away from home. Money
sure,
was good. Like I didn't have no more financial issues no more. You know what I mean? I was,
right,
I'm single, and military pays good, benefits, all that good stuff, man. But you had to be careful, man, because the women up there in Alaska, with anywhere you go, um, and you're a soldier, you're like they just see you as like a lottery ticket because you get
yeah,
married and like I get married to this soldier, I get benefits, I get and then you get paid extra if you're married too. Pretty much almost double what you make.
right. So
So
it's
like a lot
beneficial to
of
both of you.
yes, like a lot of
Yeah,
people, like that's why that's one of the main reasons why the divorce rate is so high in the military because a lot of
they
these
get
young
married for
kids
the
come
wrong
come in,
reasons.
they get married for the wrong reason. Yeah, the money
Yeah,
looks good, but I mean, you get deployed, I mean, why go both ways, wife and husbands, what I'm saying, cheating on each other, so it's like,
yeah,
and it's like, it's like there's no real love there. It's just, we just did it for the money, you know what I mean? So
right.
I saw a lot of that, bro. I saw a lot of that, man. Definitely had I was single at the time, so I definitely did my thing,
You
had
talk
my
about that
share.
in your book.
Mm-hmm.
We won't share too
Absolutely,
many
man.
details because we do want
Yeah,
people
yeah.
to look at
Yeah,
your
yeah,
book.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah, yeah, yeah,
yeah.
absolutely. Yeah, so I mean, but it was a good time though. Overall, I was still kind of stuck in between. Do I want to stay in the army or do I want to just fulfill my 5-year contract? Because like my contract was 5 years active duty and 3 years reserved,
Right.
and I was kind of it. It was kind of depressing, man, because you know the army will cripple you because they do everything for you.
Yeah.
And no matter how independent you are, you know, like once you come out here in the real world, like you don't have nobody holding your hand telling you to pay your bill or go. And I mean, like the army literally holds your hand. Like they provide you with a place to stay. You know what I'm saying? Like they provide you with clothing. Hey, you show up right place, right time, right uniform. you can have a successful career in the Army. You know what I mean?
Right.
Now
So
you
the
have to
only
put
thing
up
they
a
don't tell
whole
you how
bunch
to
of
do is spend your money, right?
yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, but what like they do advise you. You know what I mean? Like if you're a brand new soldier, like there are certain things that like they keep tight reins on you, man. Like they micromanage everything, and I didn't like that because I didn't feel like I needed to be micromanaged.
Right.
Uh, but I mean, but you know, I came from losing everything when I was living with my dad to you know when I got there, I bought a car, my Monte Carlo, which I still have,
Oh,
and
that's cool.
yeah, man, you know, so like just thank God, man, you know, just that's why, bro, like when I see people hit rock bottom, like I've been there, like I know what it is to lose everything, you know,
Sure.
so to just be in that position, but it was tough, man, because you know, like if you are in the Army, when you have higher ranked soldiers, which are your supervisors, anybody who outranks you is your supervisor. It doesn't matter what company they come from. You could be meeting for the first time. If you see if you're a private and you see a sergeant,
Mm-hmm.
you better give them the green of the day, or it's gonna be a bad day for you. Like the Army
Right.
really is like a whole different world, bro. It's a whole the military period. Like it's nothing like real life. That's why if you would talk to any soldier,
Mm-hmm.
they'll probably use a term like in real life because it is like it's a whole nother world. You don't operate the same as you would as a civilian. You know what I'm saying? Like everything you
Right.
do is flip flop, bro. So that was
Right.
challenging for me, man, because like I'm a grown man. You ain't about to be talking to me in the kind of way, you know.
Yeah.
So and I mean like I got into it with a couple of you know my sergeants, you know, because they want to come at me sideways, and I let them know, hey, bro, like I'm respectful to everybody that, but I'm not the one and that's one of the main reasons. But after a while, like I got some respect, you know, like I got some more rank
Sure.
on my chest, and I got respect, and they kind of left me alone. But I hated seeing how other people were treated. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And there's very little I can do about that. Like
So
there's
they
been
abuse the
people,
power.
yes, bro. Like they, they'll be in the grocery store and they'll see one of their soldiers with their wife and their kids, and they'll just it happens, bro. They will cuss them out in front of their wife and their kids in the grocery store,
Yeah, that's
out of uniform.
disrespectful.
You ain't
Yeah.
even at work, you know what I'm saying? And I
Yeah.
mean, and like for soldiers, for young soldiers who don't know their rights, because you can actually report them, you know, because like you don't have to do everything like that they're telling you to do if it's outside of the scope of your job, you know. But I
Right.
mean, like, so yeah, man. So yeah, I just didn't want to deal with that no more, bro. You
So we
know.
don't have to talk about this much because it's in your book. But you got married,
Yeah.
and then during that time, were you in the Secret Service?
No. So I think I don't know how. Okay, so like let me explain the part. So I was an MP when I was in the military. I was in Alaska for
Okay.
almost 3 years. During um my last year or so, when I was in Alaska, I was in a relationship with
Okay.
my ex-wife, and you know when I PCS means just you just move into another duty station. So for
Okay.
those of you who don't know these military acronyms, that's what I mean when I say PCS. I just moved to another duty station. So I moved to Fort Riley, Kansas, after I was done with my time, completed my tour in Alaska. That's when I got married.
Okay.
Yeah, so yeah, that happened during that time, and I finished out my career in Fort Riley, and that's when I decided, okay, this is it for me. So I was the MP the whole entire time I was
And so,
there.
so you never were anything to do with Secret Service.
So yes, uh, yes and
If you
no.
can't talk about it
No,
publicly,
no, no,
that's
no, no,
fine.
no, no, no.
Okay.
No, I can talk about it. I you know, I just have to get everything in chronological order.
Okay. Because you were making me start to think that we had some kind of Mandela effect going on. But okay.
Man, so uh, I got out of the Army 2016.
Okay.
I still did 3 years of reserve, meaning that during those 3 years from 2016 to 2019, they could call me back if they wanted to.
Right.
Other than that, I was just living my life, you know, going to, you know, finishing school, you know, move back, move kind of back home because I was living in Mariana, you know,
Right.
so because that's where my My wife at the time had a place there, so we just moved back to her place and lived there. And I was trying to figure some things out. Still really didn't know what I knew I had to finish school because I was going to school for criminal justice, and I knew I wanted to finish that.
Sure.
So I just didn't know
Did
what
you
I
think
wanted
at
to
that
do.
time you might be a police officer?
I didn't want to be.
No.
I wanted to be something more like a parole officer, but I still needed to finish my schooling in
Okay.
order for that to happen. So I'm just trying to grind because I didn't want to be. So times kind of got hard. Now I got a family. Now I got a newborn child.
Right.
I just can't
You
be.
had a
I gotta work.
stepdaughter at the time too, right?
And
Yeah.
son. Yeah.
Okay.
So
There was two children there. Okay.
yeah. So like now I gotta work. Like I just can't just go to school. So like I got a job as a correction officer at a prison, private prison in Graceville.
Okay.
And so I was doing that, and then still kind of going to school
That's a
online.
tough job.
Yeah, man. It's tough, but I was built for I got promoted to the to the rapid response team pretty quick, just because of my background and military. I walked in, they just laid out the red carpet, bro. And
For sure.
so
Yeah.
yeah, so it was a tough job, but not as tough for me because I'm just built for that type of stuff.
That makes sense, though. Probably the average guy that wasn't in the military or even like a police officer before, and then they go and they get in that environment, and the way that those guys would treat them, they probably couldn't handle it as well as somebody who had already been through a lot of tough situations.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
you hit it around the head, bro. You explained it perfectly, man. So I did that, and during my time, my boy James, blast from the past, going back to the Chipotle days.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
James hit me up because at the time, he was now married and had kids, and he had moved to Atlanta.
He made me so sick with the way he played the piano
I know, man.
because
This dude,
he could just do it and he didn't have to think about it.
he could hear it
Yeah.
and just play it, and he'd be done with class. But then, but then the piano teacher kind of caught whiff of that, and they was like, okay, he can play by ear. So that's when they stopped playing it, and then like we all had to put on our headphones so that James wouldn't hear it and just play it because we would just be able to play it and be done and be outside the window. Man, y'all, let's go eat, man. Everything on me. Like James was so generous, man. But he made me sick, and I'm like, bro, I'm struggling. I can't play, and you can hear it one time and just play it and then just be done.
I
Cause
mean,
that was the
for
whole point of
real.
piano class. But anyway,
Yeah.
but anyway, so he hit me up, bro, and he's like, hey, because James still kept in contact with man, what's the latest Miss Angie?
Stats? Oh, her too.
Yeah. Stats Club, but Miss Stats Club?
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Angie was it Angie? Something like that?
Something like that.
Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. So he still kept in contact with Angie because Angie would always, and I didn't notice till he told me, Angie would actually pay him to come down and do sound for the show choir. And
Oh, yeah.
and they would have like show choirs event every year, and she would always, and boy, they paid him some good money, Milton. You hear
Wow.
me? Woo,
Yeah.
they paid him some good money. Because you got to think, like, he got to drive from Atlanta. He wasn't coming from no chump chain.
Oh,
And
yeah.
they were very generous, let me say that.
Wow.
So he hit me up. He was like, hey, bro, I heard you was back in Mariana. I got to come down and do this show choir event. I was like, I said, so bro, like, you hold on, like, what you coming down here for? And then that's when he told me that they still paid him. Cause he's so good with sound. So I was like, all right, well, bet, like that's a good hustle right there, man. So
Seriously.
he said, as soon as we get done with the show, man, like let's catch up, let's go and eat. I was like, yeah, bet, bro, because at that point in time, bro, like I hadn't saw James in about 10 years,
Yeah.
So we went out, man. We ate, and this was like a really God moment because he was just asking me like, how's the military? What was I doing? I told him I went to prison. I'm still going to school, but I really wasn't sure,
Right.
So he was like, you ever thought about the Secret Service? And I
Oh.
said, what? I said, bro, why are you all people
Yeah, why would he ask you that?
asking me about the Secret Service? And then so he said, now me, Milton, I'm thinking that I am probably like the most unqualified person for the Secret Service, bro. I don't have no degree. I have military, you know what I'm saying,
Yeah,
background, but that's pretty much where it starts and ends. And I'm thinking, you got to be somebody very, very special to even be considered for a job like that.
right.
But I was wrong.
Hmm.
So he told me that he had a best friend who was in the Secret Service, and I was like, bro, I don't qualify. He was like, bro, how many years you got as being a police officer? I said 5. He was like, bro, you only need, I think he said four,
Wow.
4 years. And he said like you do. I think he said that you don't need a degree, but it was preferred. But
Sure.
they'll work with you on how many college credits you got. But it was but mainly it's a test you have to take.
Okay.
Really, very, very hard test. And bro, you know me, like I'm not no great test taker. Like when it comes to certain things, I've always did well in English and literature and writing. Like that's always been my field. But just that's the only thing I've ever really been excellent in when it came to school.
Sure.
So I'm automatically thinking to myself, okay, what test are you talking about? He was like, I'm gonna connect you with my homeboy. And he said, I tell him I sent you. He's in the Secret Service. He's been in the Secret Service for like 10 years, and he gonna show you the ropes. He can tell you a whole lot more. And bro, like the things that bro they do in the Secret Service, bro, like what blow your mind. The things that they see,
Yeah.
you wouldn't believe, bro. Like. Let me just. I can't say too much, but let me just say this: you wouldn't even think it's real. The stuff
Yeah.
that they deal with, the stuff that they see, the places that they go, the
Right.
things that they see, you would not even think that it's from this planet. I'm just gonna leave it right there, bro.
Well, that you brought that up. You told me one time, and if I can't say this, you can tell me to cut it out.
No, you good,
You
bro.
told me the earth was hollow.
Yeah,
Is
that
that
was one.
true?
That was yes, bro.
You're
Yes,
not joking.
I'm not joking, bro.
How?
Listen, bro. Everything that they teach you in school, like how the
So
Earth has.
so there's a video out on the internet, and this is
Mm-hmm,
like conspiracy theory stuff, and like I like to watch paranormal podcasts and stuff like
mm-hmm.
that. So like I've heard this a few times.
Yeah,
So I'm gonna go down the rabbit trail,
go
and we're
ahead.
going together.
Yeah, let's go.
So it was, I don't know his name. I think he was like a colonel or like a general or something, but he got in an airplane and he went over Antarctica or somewhere like that, and he got
Mm-hmm.
tractor beamed down into a hole, and inside of the earth it was like a tropical paradise, and they were like, we're
Yes.
peaceful, we're not going to hurt you. And
Mm-hmm.
what is that?
Yes, so you can leave all this in because this stuff is on YouTube. But see, here's the thing, bro. The best way the government and see, I'm not in the Secret Service, so I can say this. The
Sure.
best way the government can hide things is in plain sight. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
There
with
are
the
certain
drones
videos
that
that
we just
they will take.
saw.
Yeah, there are certain videos that they will take down, but we live in a day and time, bro, where you got AI, you got so many things, bro. Milton, you can leave your house right now and go to freaking Walmart and see an alien in the checkout line, and your first thought, just because of the just the climate, the time that we live in with all technology, you would
Yeah.
probably think that it's somebody. Man, somebody did a very good job on their costume. You know what
Oh
I'm
yeah.
saying?
Yeah.
You wouldn't even know. So they hide everything in plain sight, man. But yes, bro,
So
I,
is it true that there are aliens that look like us just walking around
bro, in the center of the earth because it's a
in the
whole nother
center of the
world
earth?
down there, bro.
So
Like,
that's
bro,
why there are UFOs that just fly up out of the ocean.
bro, aliens don't come from other planets, but like they from the same place we from.
What in the world? So
Yeah,
there are another
you know what I'm
species
saying?
of
That
humanoid type
yes,
people.
that is why you cannot fly over like it's illegal for you to fly over the north or south pole. Like you can't even visit because that's an opening. You know what I'm saying, to the hollow earth.
Shut
They're
up.
opening. Listen, bro.
When
Like
you gonna tell me
I,
this is a joke?
This is not a joke, bro.
You promise.
I'm not joking.
You promise.
They're open. I promise.
Don't you
bro.
turn around and tell me this is a joke in 5 minutes.
Nope.
Man.
All this stuff, like James ain't in the Secret Service either, whatever. But like I can, and since I'm not saying his friend, I can say what he told me. Like, because like there's a lot of things that because him and James have been best friends for years.
I mean, seriously, all the government's got to do is be like, these two guys are cooped.
Yeah.
If they want to, they don't care.
Yeah, man. Because it's a lot of stuff that's out there right now, man. And I mean, and they know a lot of people ain't gonna believe it. So
you have given me a wonderful title or a piece of my title already. Now that we brought this up, because UFOs is going to be in the title.
But yeah, man. So like James revealed like a lot of stuff that I ain't even really believe at that point in time until I started.
So what else?
Researching myself. Like what else, man? Like it's a whole nother world down there, bro. Like you got hospitals, you got malls.
Ain't no way.
Yes, bro. Like you got there's a whole, bro. Like there's a reason why these areas are restricted. Like there are literally openings that you go into, and like they have their own source of energy, and it's like a whole nother sun that's down there that where they get all the energy. That's what I guess you would call the core.
Right.
But like how because like you know how it is, like in science books, like you have the core, you have the mantle, you have the earth ain't really like that, bro.
What?
And like they will never tell you that,
So just in light of what all is happening politically right now, is it all just a smoke show? Or do they leave us alone and leave us to our own devices?
I think it depends on how you look at it. In my opinion, so kind of go like provide me with some context, like
okay, we've got political things going on in the world where there are different governments are going through different things, and then you've got like some countries that are hurting each other in very dramatic ways, is the way I'll put it, so that we don't get taken down for this.
Yeah.
But like you've got terrible things happening all around the world. People starving, people unaliving, and all these things are happening, and then power structures are changing all over the world, and some people think that they're winning and some people think that they're losing. And is all that a smoke show to cover up everything that's happening inside?
I believe just my opinion, I believe some of it is.
Yeah. It's all theater.
Maybe even a lot of it, because like there are a few, in my opinion, a small group of people that really controls the media and everything else, man. You know what I'm saying? I mean, like they and it's just wicked, bro, to be honest with you, And
so who's the good guys? Are the people inside the earth the good guys?
So, based on the knowledge that I have acquired, the people beneath really don't want a whole lot to do with us.
Yeah, because they've got it figured out and we don't.
Pretty much.
Wow.
Like they don't want to be bothered with.
Wow.
And
we have to honor that, or they'll come nuke us because they got technology we don't got.
Yeah, pretty much.
Wow.
They pretty high speed down there, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, like, I know people gonna be listening to this and be like, man, like these guys are crazy.
These guys are crazy. They're off the rocker.
And I mean, like, which is their right. I mean,
you know what though? I don't care, because this podcast is meant to be a variety show.
Yeah.
And if it ends up talking about aliens, then we're just going to talk about aliens.
Hey, yeah, absolutely.
And if it's not really aliens and it's just another species or a race of humans inside the earth, then that's what it is. Joe Rogan talked about this recently, that he don't think that the aliens are real, like out there. That he thinks that if it's something, it's here.
Absolutely.
So if he can say that, we can say that.
Yeah, absolutely, bro. Like,
I'm a small podcast, but I want to talk about everything. I want to learn what's out there and talk about it. And if it's not even real and people are just pulling our legs, it's fun to think about.
Yeah, it is.
You
It
know?
is. It is. It is. So like, whenever I was having a conversation with James's friend, and bro, he told me a lot of stuff, man.
My own cousin told me some stuff that I was like, yeah, you joking. So
Yeah.
he was in the Marines, and he was on a Navy ship out in the ocean, and he said the stuff that you see and hear out there will blow your mind.
Yeah. Yeah. Bro, you got to think, bro. Like 95% of the sea, like everybody notices, like of the ocean is unexplored. So ain't no telling what's down there, bro.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You know, but to finish this little part about the Secret Service, then like we
Yeah.
can
Yeah.
continue to talk about the aliens and stuff. So, um, James connected me with his friend. He pretty much walked me through the whole process. This is where we found the application at, bro. The application for the Secret Service was 300 pages.
What?
They want to know everything, and they will know everything about you. They will
They
talk to your
probably,
kindergarten
yeah.
teacher.
Yeah.
Yes, they want to know. They will. Yes. So, I went, I applied, and I got an interview.
Okay.
So, the interview was
And that's
in.
around the time whenever your social media pretty much went nothing.
Was it? Yeah.
Around that time.
Yeah.
That's the only
Mm-hmm.
reason I remember, because I was like, I don't think you could talk to anybody. And I asked your ex-wife at the time, I was like, what's going on with Jeffrey? And she's like, he's applying for the Secret Service. And I was like, oh.
Yeah.
And that's all that
Yeah.
she could say, and that's all we knew.
Yeah. I couldn't say anything to anybody, bro.
You wouldn't be
So
allowed to have social media at all if you had been in there.
well, yeah, but you just couldn't like you wouldn't be able to talk about what you did. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Or what
Okay.
you do. Like you would have to just. I mean, like they don't care what you put up. Like you can have a social media page and
Okay.
you
It's
can
just got to
pretend
be
that you
like
some podcast who lives at
superficial.
home in a basement with your mom for
Yeah.
all they care.
Yeah.
They just don't want you to pair that with what you do. That's all.
Okay. Okay.
So yeah, you're right, bro. Like I went dark, and
He was born
my
that way.
first interview, my first interview, no, back up. So I applied, and I didn't have an interview, but I had to take a test
Okay.
before I even had the interview.
Oh, wow.
Milton, bro, let me tell you something. For me to even be a candidate of the Secret Service at that point in time was good enough for me. I can say that because how many people can say that? You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like that's good enough for me. Because
Yeah.
I mean, it wasn't even on my mind until James brought it to my attention.
Sure.
So I went. The test was in Tallahassee, so they gave me the address. They told me how to dress and all that. So I went to Tallahassee, and I left in plenty of time because you know how bad I am with directions. I get to yelling at people. According to you, I don't remember that, but according to you,
Man,
but
that's
yeah,
the
man.
only time you ever yelled at me, but I was like, oh, God, I better shut up. Jeffrey's mad.
But man, I so I leave my house, and I leave in plenty of time, bro.
Mm-hmm.
And I went, I got something to eat, and I want to have plenty of time in case I got lost, but I found the address just fine.
Sure.
And so I look at my phone, I look at the GPS, and I look at my email, and I look at the address, and I look at my email, and I look at the address, and I look at where I'm at.
Mm.
And I look at my email, and I look at the address, and I look at where I'm at, and I'm like, this ain't matching, bro.
Some
Like,
MIB stuff, huh? Insignificant building. It could be
yeah,
any
yeah, yeah,
insignificant building in Tallahassee, just in case. You
yeah,
don't want to get it taken down for
yeah, 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 yeah,
exposing
yeah,
somebody for something.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So I go to this insignificant building
Mm-hmm.
that looked like something that it is a common place that everybody goes to on a regular basis.
Didn't look
You
official.
know, you would never think nothing about it. You know what I'm saying? Like this place that I went to, this address that they gave me, you would never think nothing about it. I will say it's a place that People go all the time.
Could have been a pizza parlor.
Yeah, could have been anything. So I go in, and at this point in time, it's 45 minutes before I have to take my test.
Okay.
So I'm like, okay, if I'm at the wrong address, which I know I'm not, I'm looking at my address, I'm looking at the email, like I know I'm in the right place.
Sure.
But if I'm at the wrong address, I need to go and talk to somebody so that they can put me in the right direction because I'm not trying to miss, my test.
A once in a lifetime opportunity.
Yeah. So I go in and I'm kind of looking lost. And the
now,
lady
did this place inside run and operate and look like what it was supposed to be?
Yes, absolutely.
Wow.
This place runs and looks like normal operations.
Okay. So if I walked in there, they would just be like, "Okay, you can do this
How can I help you,
thing."
sir? Do you need so and so and so and so? Yeah.
Yeah, and then they would transact with me, and I'd leave and everything. I would never know.
You would never know.
Wow.
Never. So I go in and I said, "Hey," and I pull up the email and I'm like, "Hey, I'm kind of freaking out. I got this. This is pointing
I'm in
me.
the wrong place. I'm gonna be late."
Am I at the wrong place? This is the address that the email gave me.
Sure.
And the lady at the counter looked at me with a smirk.
Oh.
And she said, because, when anybody comes there, typically they thinking that they coming for normal operation. Normal operation. But when she saw my email, her demeanor kind of changed. She looked at me with a smirk. She was like, She was like, go upstairs. No, she said, get on the elevator, go upstairs, and when you get off, you're going to see a door. Just stand in front of that door. And she said, it's going to look like a door that doesn't even matter. Like a door to like some type of janitor's closet or something.
Sure.
In fact, I think that's what it said, janitor's closet, something like that. If I remember myself correctly. But she said, just stand in front of that door. That's all you got to do.
Okay.
So I said, okay. Went on the elevator, 3rd floor. And bro, I must have passed by this door because I'm thinking this is supposed to be like an actual door that look like I need to go into. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because I saw actual doors like that, doors that, people were working in and, you know what I'm saying? Everything looked official. This door was not official. Bro, I passed by this door at least 5 times. But then I remembered, I was like, okay, she told me, and maybe that was part of the test, bro. Like looking back.
See if you can follow instructions.
Can I follow instructions?
Yeah.
Because I know which door she told me to go to, but I didn't think that it just didn't make sense to me. So I said, you know what, bro? I'm already nervous. So let me just go in front of the door. Like if I fail, I fail. So I went in front of the door and I stood in front of the janitor's door, and this door opened.
What?
Yes, bro.
Did it just slide open?
No, it opened. It looked like a regular rundown janitor's closet door, but bro, when I went back there, like I see like these agents. You know what I'm saying? And then the door shuts. And I just remember smelling a whole bunch of weed. I'm like, and then like one that, bro, let me tell you something, bro. It looked like some Men in Black type stuff back there, bro.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I wasn't able to see everything that was going on, but like you know how like bro, like it was a lot of high tech stuff back there, man.
Sure.
And so as I'm walking, she was like, just follow me. And she was like, oh, I can tell they're testing the drugs really good back there now. And I'm like, and then like she started laughing. I'm like, okay, all right. I don't know what I done got myself into, but we just gonna go with it, man. Like if I don't come back home, I hope somebody know where my last place was.
Not that they'd ever find you.
Cool, though. She was cool. Like she wasn't uptight, you know what I'm saying? But like you can tell like everything was ran like they were about business, bro.
Yeah.
And it was so much high tech stuff. I can't even begin to even tell you what I saw because I don't even know what it is.
It's like being in a Marvel movie or something.
Bro, seriously, bro. It looked just like that. Yeah. So they take me into this room where this long table is, like a board room. And then was I the only one? I think I was the only one in there that day taking this test.
Okay.
This was the hardest test I've ever taken in my life. The test was so hard until I. It was so hard until I knew I failed it, and I already had accepted it. I'm like, you know what, man? I got a good story to tell my grandkids one day.
For sure.
You know what I'm saying? You know, I had already accepted everything because that test was so hard. I'm like, ain't no way I passed this. No way. I
Yeah.
can't even begin to tell you some of the stuff I had to think about, and like bro. It was so much, bro.
Mm-hmm.
So I turned in the test. I wasn't even sad about it. I was just like, for real, bro.
That's the
Like
coolest thing
I
you
had
probably
already
ever
accepted
seen.
it. Yeah, I had already accepted it. You know,
Yeah.
so I'm like, okay. So I was like I go home and I tell my wife at the time about my experience. She couldn't believe it. She was tripping out about it and all those kind of stuff. And you know, so and I was like, yeah. Until I said like, I don't think I passed. Matter of fact, I know I didn't pass. You know, because ain't no way. It's some of the stuff I ain't even finished because I ain't
Yeah.
because it was timed. You know,
Okay.
so I was like, I said that they should be contacting me. I should be getting an email stating whether I passed or failed in 2 weeks.
Okay.
So I said, like, I just been waiting on. So, bro, I wasn't stressing, you know, because you know, like how when something means so much to you, like you stressing, you hoping that you,
Mm-hmm.
bro, there was no stress. I already had accepted my fate, bro. You feel me?
Right.
So when I finally got the email, I opened it up. Milton, it says I passed.
They just wanted you to walk to the door.
I think you're right, bro.
They were like, is he brave enough to walk through this door? That's probably all it was.
Bro,
Is he
it
willing to
had to
try?
be, bro. Something had to
Yeah.
be, cause ain't no way, bro.
How many guys would have been like they seen what you saw and be like, I'm out?
Yeah, yeah,
Because that's kind of a scary situation, right?
yeah, yeah. It is, it is,
Yeah.
it is. I feel like everything is a test, bro. So, um, I couldn't believe my eyes, bro. I'm like, did they make a mistake? Could not believe my eyes. So I called, you know, my homeboy who was James' friend, who is now my friend.
Okay.
And I fill him in, and he like, bro, that's good. He was coaching me on what to do, telling me what to expect, and I was like, all right, you know, all right, cool, cool, cool. And then so the next step was I had to have an interview. Now the interview was like a month out. It was in
Mm-hmm.
Jacksonville, Florida. So he helped me prep for the interview, even though you really don't know what they're gonna ask you.
Sure.
So so they sent me an email, the address where the interview was gonna be. Now, in Jacksonville, it wasn't anything like Tallahassee. It wasn't anything very secretive or anything like that.
It's like a federal building.
Yeah, yeah. It's a federal building, you know, nothing crazy going on. Um, I got there, and so everybody from across the country who had applied was here
Okay.
at this place at this interview, and I want to say it was probably out of everybody in the country, bro. Because you got to think like you got like think about how many people it is in America,
Mm-hmm.
and then how many people you know are eligible or you know to apply, and how many people made it through to even get to that point to even have an interview.
Right.
It was like 200 people.
Wow.
So 200 people showed up, and there was this long line. Now, in the email they had gave us description on how they want us to be dressed. If you were a man, you need to wear a suit. You
Mm-hmm.
know, if you were a woman, like you could wear a suit, but if you did want to wear a suit, you need it needs to be like dress attire,
Like
business.
formal clothes.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you wanted to wear like a skirt, like it had to be below your knees,
Okay.
you know, and like they were very descriptive, very detailed about how they wanted you to present yourself as far as how you dress.
Right.
So yeah, 200 people there. I was probably number, if I had to guess, 115. I was like right in the middle,
Yeah.
somewhere ish. And I saw these agents go to the very front of the line. And I mean, I really couldn't hear what they were saying, like what was going on because there was so many people there.
Right.
And but but I saw them go to the very front, and bro, they would just start like I couldn't hear what they were saying at that point in time, but I just remember seeing people walking off, leaving.
So whatever they were saying, they didn't answer right. They got told to go.
They got told to go.
Wow.
Oh, I'm like, and then like there was some people I would see them talk to, and then those people would stay, and they would go to the next one, and then next one they'll leave. I'm like, bro, what? So like I'm looking at myself like, is it because of what they got on? It was because, and then so like there was a lady standing in front of me, and she had dreads, and she had on a blazer, but she also had on jeans too.
Okay.
So by this time, bro, I had saw so many people leave. I'm just like, okay, they're gonna ask me, I'm gonna say the wrong thing, they're gonna find something wrong. Maybe I don't have a button up or something. I don't know. Like they're gonna find something wrong and I'm probably gonna be out of here. So I'm just like nervous. So they get to the lady who's in front of me who has the jeans on, and so they said, did you read your email? And then the lady was like, yes. About your attire? She said yes. And so she said, okay, well, why do you have on jeans? And then so she said, well, nope, you didn't pay attention. You need to go. And then so, like, the lady got upset. She was like, I flew all the way from Oregon. Well, that's not my problem, ma'am. Do we need to get security to escort you?
Wow.
You know? And she was like, bro, I flew all the way from Oregon.
Yeah.
Bye. That's your problem. You feel me? And so they got to me, bro. And they looked at me in my eye, and they looked me. They looked down, and they looked up, and they passed me. I was like, shoot, I'm good. Boy, I was like, woo, I'm sweating bullets.
Yeah.
So at that point, that dwindled it down to about 70, 75 people.
Okay.
You know, because it wasn't just wardrobe, but like it's other stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
Like I don't know what it was, but I just know I was good. So I go in, and
but they're probably really good at psychology, and they're probably reading your body language too.
Yeah. Oh yeah, you absolutely right, bro. There's a lot like that, like they're so detailed, man. So I definitely agree with you. So like I go in, and then they give us like for the ones who made it, like they give us this orientation video or whatever. It's about the history of the Secret Service and what it entails of and everything like that, and we were there for a little while. We were talking to the chief, and he was talking about his time there and some of the things that he saw, and it was like he didn't go into detail talking about crazy stuff, but just normal,
everyday
what
business.
to expect from the job. You know what I'm saying? Just stuff like that, like surface level stuff. So
sure.
But it was time for my interview, so I go in. Bro, they was asking me so many questions about like my childhood, about like my time, and like they were
What
really.
did they already know about you?
What did they already know about me? I don't even know, bro.
They didn't tell you.
I filled out a 300-page application, and ain't no telling who they called.
Yeah.
And you know what I'm saying? And bro, I'm sure they contacted a lot of people about me, bro.
Yeah.
For me to even just make it into
so they have
building.
to make sure that you have integrity and that you are what you say and who you say you are.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Because I'm sure every question that they asked me, they already had the answer to.
Yeah.
Every question.
That's what I'm thinking.
I'm sure they talked to my kindergarten teacher, my military. You know what I'm saying?
They're making sure you're not going to lie about what you tell them. Yeah.
Yeah, they asked me about stuff that happened, and they asked me about some things that happened while I was in Alaska. They was asking about specific events. I'm like, bro, how y'all know this? Like, about everything, but and some of the things I didn't really want to be honest about, like even personal questions. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, okay, but I was just like, okay, like I done made it this far. Like I'm just gonna tell these people the truth. Like, hey, y'all probably already know anyway. So
yeah.
And so, but they didn't make me wait. they actually expedited me. So by it was like an 8 hour day because we did a lot. It was like a lot of waiting around and talking to the chief, and we went to lunch and we came back and whatnot, and then so by the end of the day, they offered me the job. It was a conditional job offer.
Okay.
So I never got an offer, a conditional job offer before. So I'm like, what is a conditional job offer? So for those of you who don't know what a conditional job offer is, basically what it is conditions. You are hired unless we find reason, for you not to be. You
Sure.
know what I'm saying? Now, because it's a government job, because it's federal, you have what you call other people can beat you out. Like they call it BQ. Like they find somebody who's better. You could be qualified, but if they find somebody who is better qualified than you, whether they have more education or whether they just think that the other person is just a better fit than you are,
Right.
you won't get the job.
Oh, wow.
So the only thing
So
I
it's
had two
like you're on
things.
deck at this
Yeah.
point. Okay.
So the only thing I had left to do, Milton, at this point was I had to get a medical exam done to make sure I'm good and healthy to go, and I had to take a polygraph test
Okay.
and a medical examination. If I pass those two, I'm in. Right.
And you didn't pass the polygraph?
So check this out, bro. I'm waiting and I'm waiting, and I get an email. Never forget it. I think this was December of 2017.
Okay. That's what I was thinking too, about around that
Yeah,
time. It was be about
yeah,
when you were.
yeah. Around
Okay.
December 2017, I received a letter that said that, sorry to inform you, but I mean, I don't remember word for word, but, you got BQ, which means they found a better qualified applicant. There's nothing I did
Oh,
wrong.
man.
And I did wrong, so I didn't even have a chance to take the polygraph test. I didn't even have a
Yeah.
chance to take my medical exam and then so when I talked to my homeboy, he said that's normal.
Right.
He said a lot of people get BQ. He said there's nothing that you like. He said like there's literally nothing that you could have done about that. You
Right.
know. So he said just try again. I'm like, well, try again, but do you know what all I had to? I literally spent like the whole year that I came back home. I was living in Mariana, bro. That
Yeah.
whole year, yeah, I was working and going to school, but like that whole year, that everything that I just told you, bro, it took a whole year from start to finish for that to happen.
Right.
The whole process took a year. I'm like, I can't mentally, emotionally, I can't put myself through that again. Like, I gotta go in a like. I feel like it was just God's way of just moving me and directing me into another direction.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, God, I'm listening to you. Cause like, I pray about everything, bro. So I said, okay, God, I'm listening to you. What else you want me to do? After that, I closed the book on that, and I applied for a job. Department of Children and Families. It's called DCF up here in Kansas. And because we had already had lived up here, me and my wife at the time, she was like, if you want to go back to Kansas, I'm ready to go. Cause she didn't really want to be. She's from Mariana, so like she didn't really want to be back there anyway. So
Yeah.
so she was just like, I just kind of want to move. I was like, all right, well, bet. Like I got a job opportunity, so that was my first case management job. I worked with Department of Children and Families, go around, saw a lot, but they really didn't pay as much. Now, we lived in a small town called Concordia, Kansas.
Okay.
It really wasn't much to it, but I knew I wasn't going to be there for a long time, man. So, kind of long story short, we were there for like a year and some change, and I got a job offer to work for Topeka Parole in
Okay.
2019 of August. And I did that for like a year or so. Then I transitioned to a counselor, so I'm just kind of been there ever since.
Okay.
So, yeah.
All right. So you got this book here available. Is There Anybody Healed? It's on Amazon. So people can pick that up. I'm going to put a link to it in the show notes so people can find it.
I got one too, bro.
Got your own copy? So yeah, when I read the book, like I said earlier, I found out some things that I didn't know about you, for real, about your family and what had happened right before we met, and it put a lot of things into perspective about how you were at the time. But then, you go into a lot of detail about sexual addiction, and I think it's bold of you to be able to talk about those things publicly, because a lot of people would be embarrassed to say those things, to say that they had a pornography addiction. But it's important for men to be able to see other men that have gone through something like that, and some women too, maybe, because it's not just men, but that they've gone through that, and they found out what was it that caused them to deal with that problem. Because every problem like that comes from a root of some kind, and usually it's trauma. Absolutely. No matter what the addiction is, no matter what the thing that's holding you back in your life is, it's a trauma of some kind, and you were able to experience healing from that. And it comes across in the book very well. But I'll give you a moment to talk about that as well.
Yeah, man. So when it came to just like the pornography addiction, and you just said that I experienced healing from that. Well, I'm still in the process. When I wrote this book, Is There Anybody Healed? God had put it on my heart for me to write a book a while back. One of my best friends, his name is Christopher Hill. He actually wrote a book back in 2021, and that inspired me. And it kind of ignited that desire that God put in me to write a book when he wrote one. Like, it just kind of like gave me that extra nudge. And I was like, okay, God, I'm going to do this, And how that book even came to be was one day I was just sitting, just reflecting. And most people that we come into contact with, whether it be people we know, people we don't know, people we work with, a stranger, whatever, most people are in one of three of these categories. Either they're heartbroken, or either they're healing from a heartbreak, or they're in something toxic that's going to lead to that. And as you just said, like, any type of addiction that you have, like, that comes from trauma, well, also who you pick could be rooted in trauma also.
Sure.
So and God just challenged me when I was thinking about that. I'm like, man, okay, most people, that's true. Like, most people we come in contact with, or they're heartbroken, healing from a heartbreak, or in something toxic that's going to lead them to that. So is there anybody healed? Like, because I truly believe, man, God, yes, it's true. God can do anything. He can use anybody. We know that, you know. But I do also believe, just like how there are certain, you can't be a doctor without going to school, without having different credentials, or without, having so many hours of, clinicals or whatever it is that they do, and it's like that in every profession, you know what I'm saying? Like, you can't go and be, whatever it is, a physical therapist, a police officer, a teacher, without, having, so there are certain qualifications that I believe that you can only do when you're healed. So like if you read in the book of Genesis, and you read about the story of Joseph and how he was betrayed by his own family, how his brothers were jealous of him, and Potiphar's wife lied on him, had him thrown in prison, he was sold into slavery, all these things, man. God was conditioning his heart, and preparing him and refining him and healing him. And we and for those of us who have read that story, know that he became second in command of Egypt, and then there was a famine in his homeland, and God put him in position to save the very people who had betrayed him. You know what I'm saying? Would have happened had he not would have went through all those trials? No.
No, he would have been in the position to do that.
Yeah. You're right, bro. He wouldn't have never even been in that position, you know what I'm saying, to even be there for them. And that's what I meant by, like, there are certain things that we can only do when when we're healed. Like you can't, you know, when God says like pray for your enemies and do good to them, but like if you still got some bitterness in your heart for that person and you're not healed from that, like you're not gonna bless them. So like that's what I mean
Right.
by like God can use anybody and anything, but there are certain qualifications, certain things that He has for you to do that you can't do unless you heal. So but yeah, man.
Right.
As far as that pornography addiction, man, definitely trauma based, and I believe that there are more than one roots. And I'll be honest with you, Milton. I couldn't even. I really had to think about where did it come from, because I believe there's more than one. Excuse me. I believe that it's more than one root. A lot of these
Sure.
things are related back to things that happened to us. When we were the child, which like nothing, like I wasn't molested or anything like that. I don't know if I can even say
But the
that.
things you are exposed to, even.
Yeah, 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 yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Just things that I was exposed to, man. Just seeing, um, what happened to both of my moms, and just feeling rejected and like looking for that acceptance, in other things, and then when you're looking at a screen that can't reject you. And I'm not
Right.
saying that that's the main root, but I do feel like it's one of the roots because I do believe that lust plays a factor in. Like you just want to have more and more and more. You just want to get those that
Well,
dopamine hit.
that's the hook.
Yeah,
That's the hook of it. But the root of it was probably, yeah, it's you had that lack of connection
yeah,
with your mother anymore,
yeah,
and
yeah,
so then you wanted to seek that out on other females.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Absolutely, absolutely. And I mean, like I was very transparent, and it was very difficult writing. Not difficult as far as because the book flowed. I would write every single Sunday. That's when God would lead me to write, and I would pray before I wrote every Sunday that God would give me what to write. And there would be times where I had no clue what I was going to write that particular Sunday evening. But when I sat down on my couch and I put that pencil, that when I put that pen to paper, God just started speaking. It was crazy how that happened. I literally felt like
It starts to come to you. Yeah.
I literally feel like he was right there beside me, telling me everything to write. And I have gotten some feedback, and some people have told me, "Man, why you have to put all that in there?" Like, or I wouldn't have said it like that. Okay, you might not would have said it that way, but I am 100% confident that
It's your story.
everything that's in that book was exactly how God wanted me to write it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it may be controversial because there's some profanity in there. You know what I'm saying? Like people may have their opinion
Yeah.
about that, and that's fine. But bro, I pray and I know God's voice. You know what I'm saying? Like that's why I would never judge somebody because here's the thing, bro. What's the best example that we could ever have as Christians? Jesus. I was like that's the easy answer. Okay, he obeyed his father's command. He never
Mm-hmm.
disobeyed. That ruffled a lot of feathers. So if he, being the ultimate greatest example that we have that we have as a model, ruffled feathers and being obedient and being misunderstood, what makes you think we're going to be any better?
True.
So I was already prepared for the 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 backlash and like I did get some backlash. Oh, like you supposed to be like why you like you use a profanity? If you read, like, don't take it out of context. Like if you read, like I wanted whoever the reader to feel like they were right there with me. I wanted it to
Yeah,
be
because you
as
were in
authentic
that
as possible.
place.
Yeah,
Yeah, and you're showing what better way to show how you've healed than to show people where you were.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. That's I appreciate you saying all that stuff because I wanted to hear kind of your heart about the book. I wanted to hear what you had to say about it, and I appreciate you coming on here tonight. It's been fun. I did not know that we were going to talk about aliens, But that was the cream on top of the cherry on top of the cake. You know what I'm saying? Like
I'm with it,
that was
bro.
it. That made my Sunday.
Yes, sir.
So, folks, is there anybody healed by Jeffery Buggs? He's a friend of mine for almost over. Well, not almost. He's over 20 years. So more than 2 decades of friendship. A brother of mine, and go out and get the book. Read it. I know that it'll bless your life. Thanks for tuning in. Y'all have a wonderful night.
Y'all be blessed.
Wow!